So, because the first Angry Birds movie made more than $300 million, Sony and Rovio agreed to make a sequel. When this was first confirmed, I was excited. I was going, what are they gonna do next? Are they gonna adapt the actual Angry Birds 2? Yeah, this was way before I found out for myself this shit was nothing but a money laundering scheme. Is the story gonna be similar to the Mighty Feathers campaign? Is it gonna take place in space? One day, I think it was reported that the villain was gonna be a purple female, so my mind immediately went, oh, it's Gale. It's definitely Gale from Stella. Then the teaser trailer released and it turned out it's not Gale. It's just some random purple eagle who lives in a cold wasteland. I was still intrigued, but then the next trailer showed Silver and wow, did I kind of feel betrayed. Now, once the movie released, everyone on the internet was talking about how it was a massive improvement over the first, and how hilarious it was. I mean, yeah, the jokes were fun and all, but I think the main reason why so many people were praising it was because of Thor Van Orman. Yes, the creator of The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, who voiced Lil Gideon in Gravity Falls, and was supposed to voice Spring and Amphibia, but then they decided to get an actual boy. The point is, this cartoon legend directed this movie. He clearly knows his craft, so it makes sense that this thing would garner the public's attention. But today, I want to dissect this thing and explain why, at least to me as both a longtime Angry Birds fan and a critic, it does not hold up 7 years later. Before we talk about the animation, I want to point out something very important. This was made by Sony Pictures Animation. The first one was just released by Sony, if that makes sense. So from the beginning, you can notice there's a sort of shift in visuals. This one definitely has more of a pastel aesthetic, which looks fine, but something that always bothered me about Sony Animation is that the sequels are always animated like they're a TV show rather than a theatrical movie. I'm talking about these weird camera angles that look more like a sketch than a movie scene. And Angry Birds 2 is no different. The first movie, while not mind-blowing, it still felt like a movie. Same for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania. I'm sorry, but I just prefer it when a film looks like a film, okay? Moving on, we've got the soundtrack. It's sure loaded with pop songs. You thought the Mario movie was obnoxious with its licensed music? Well, get a load of this. Yeah, you got I'm a Fireball, Eye of the Tiger, The Final Countdown, Turn Down for What, Hello, Holding Out for a Hero. Why are we still using this song? Everybody knows that this song peaked with Shrek 2. Oh yeah, and also Baby Shark. I don't know why this song is even here considering its fad was a year before this movie series, and it's honestly just whatever. They have sort of remixes of the original soundtrack, which is cool, but I would have liked some originality there. Now, let's continue with the voice acting. Everyone from the first cast still sounds like they want to be here. The rest are either decent casting choices, Leslie Jones being the only one hamming it up, or celebrity guest stars. I'm not kidding. For this thing, they got Nicki Minaj, Dove Cameron, Aquafina, Jojo Siwa, Anthony again, but no Ian, Eugenio Derbez, Tiffany Haddish. Dude, why was this woman everywhere back in 2019? She was in both sequels to the Lego Movie and Secret Life of Pets, then this, even in SpongeBob on the Run and Candace Against the Universe a year later. All I'm asking is, what demographic did they expect to attract with her? Can anyone tell me? Anybody please? The only one I'm actually okay with is Eugenio Derbez, since for one, me and my family always enjoyed his shows and skits, and also he has voice acting experience, so he's easily the best one out of all the guest stars. Everyone else just sounds super disinterested. Now, the characters themselves. Chuck is a lot more annoying than usual. Bomb is made stupid just for the sake of being stupid. I was always sad that neither Matilda, Terrence, Stella, Hal, or Bubbles joined in on the adventure, but why would you want that? We've got Aquafina Pig, and this other new pig whose entire personality is sarcastic mad genius, and that's it. The Blues did not grow at all, thus they don't join the adventure either. Come to think of it, why did they use these random hatchlings to have this wacky side quest when you could have easily given it to the Blues? Hey, you know what? I think they wasted the opportunity of a lifetime to give each triplet its own personality. Remember when the DuckTales reboot gave Donald's nephews their own thing? Huey was smart and prepared, Dewey was dorky and adventurous, Louie was greedy and clever. They could have done something like that with the Jays here. Also, really? Jojo Siwa? You relegated the second character you unlock in every game in the series into a guest cameo? Either hire a voice actor or a really talented kid actor. Hire real voice actors for once! Now to focus on the more crucial characters. First, there's Red. The movie actually has a really good concept to continue his arc from the first movie. He's afraid that the people in Bird Island will eventually stop loving him. It's understandable because throughout his life he never received any kind of unconditional love or appreciation until he became a hero, so it makes sense. But the problem is he's more so afraid of sharing his fame and adoration. Like, really, dude? This is the most childish struggle I've ever seen a grown-ass main character go through. And that's saying something. Did he forget he forms a team with Chuck and Bomb? In fact, the characters act as if he single-handedly saved all the eggs when it was a team effort. Yeah, Red was the one who led them to victory, but everyone basically risked their lives to save their children. Here, all of them, Red especially, act as if it was all just him. Also, why do they commercialize him? When the village rebuilt his house, it was a gesture of gratitude for lifting their spirits up and inspiring them to fight. How did we go from that to him being treated like a Hollywood celebrity? Now, like I said, him desperately latching onto his newfound popularity makes sense. The problem is that his struggle is basically just narcissism towards his own friends. I wouldn't mind this if Red actually tried to fight it off throughout the movie until a moment forces him to break down. It's a great trope where the hero is willing to put their own problems and insecurities aside to save the day. But here's the thing. Red actively lets this shit jeopardize the mission. Multiple times. All because boo-hoo. The team built an eagle suit and it might take all the credit. Boo-hoo. Dude, what are you, 5? Probably the stupidest thing he does in the movie is telling both islands not to evacuate. Red, are you sick in the head or something? Why are you telling them to not evacuate when they basically have a giant gun pointed at their heads? Huh? And one last thing. Even before embarking on this mission, why did he not investigate the giant ice balls falling out of nowhere? Why does he just brush it off like some embarrassing secret when Leonard brings it up? A pivotal character trait Red had in the first movie is that he did not leave rocks unturned if he felt something was up.
The whole world, everyone we know, is in danger. I used to believe in you. When I was a kid, I believed nothing really bad could ever happen because you were here. And now I see the fate of the world hangs on idiots like me. And that, sir, is sort of terrifying.
Now let's talk about basically the other main character, Silver. Let me give you a summary of her from the games. Silver was first introduced in Angry Birds Transformers, being a bird raised by pigs. She then turns on them upon learning that they eat eggs, and so for obvious reasons, she strays away from them and joins the main flock. This, by default, makes her one of the more complex characters in the entire franchise. The movie, for some reason, uses none of that, and they decide to make her a science geek who's also Chuck's little sister. Why? First of all, her design sucks. Not only do she and Chuck not even look alike, but most importantly, she looks absolutely nothing like in the game. While I'm at it, they also completely omitted her tomboyish look in favor of whatever this is supposed to be. And why doesn't she have her loop powers? Being related to Chuck, who has super speed, would have made the explanation easier. So why didn't they use it? That's not even the weirdest thing. For some reason, they also felt the need to make her and Red have this super forced romance that just feels awkward and underdeveloped. I'm willing to say that I don't think this was the rope's idea at all. Cartoonists like him always come off to me as comedy first, everything else later. It's why the closest to romance in his show were Flapjack and Sally Syrup, which they hardly scratch the surface on, and Knuckles wanted to sleep with a candy statue. So if anything, I think this was just mandated by some executive because the chart says we need hetero romance, even when it makes no sense. They don't even have anything in common. When they first meet, it seems like she never even heard of Red, and gives the impression he's like some fraud to her. Hell, the more I think about it, Silver never has her moment of being angry. She's just confidently smart and collective every scene she's in. Guys, what's the name of this franchise? Angry Birds.
Hey, what is this?
Oh, well, yeah.
What do you mean, what is this? She just accidentally fell on top of him. If we're gonna play it like that, what if you, her brother, were in Red's place? Would it be romantic then? Moving on, we have Leonard. You know how everyone lost their minds when it was revealed the next Superman movie will be about him and Lex Luthor reluctantly teaming up? This movie did it first. Okay, I'm not saying it's the first movie to ever do this reluctant hero-villain team-up story, but it's weird this franchise of all things did it before, right? When this premise was first presented, I was actually excited to see what would unfold, only to realize the movie just doesn't focus on it at all. I'm not kidding, the entire marketing of this movie was all about how the birds and the pigs will finally put their differences aside to stop an even bigger threat. But again, the movie is not about that. Once the team gets to Eagle Island, Red and Leonard don't interact ever again. There's no arc, there's no teamwork struggle, no moment where they bond, nothing. So if anything, the whole truce thing was nothing but a gimmick to kickstart the plot. Now, I understand Leonard being giddy about teaming up with the birds, but Red, as soon as he learns about Eagle Island, he's suddenly just cool with him. Come to think of it, okay, I know I've always been very vocal about how much I hate this trope, simply because it's a tired cliche and it's only ever used for drama's sake. But I think this would have been the right time to use the second or third act breakup. Think about it. Maybe the movie could have shown that Leonard still has a hunger for eggs, so he tries to use the mission to secretly poach eagle eggs. And upon catching him red-handed... Oh man, I walked into that one, didn't I? Red tells him off and decides to leave him on his own. It makes sense, it doesn't go against anybody's character, and it gives room for self-reflection. It's so simple. Anyway, hey, let me ask you a question. Who is Leonard supposed to be again? King Pig. So that leads me to another question. Why doesn't he wear his crown after the first 10 minutes? Or for that matter, anything royal-like throughout the mission. They think they wasted the chance to have a joke there where Zeta learns he's a king and freaks out because, you know, diplomatic immunity and all. That would have been a hilarious way to unfold the climax. Also, let me ask another more concerning question. What's with this movie's obsession with fetishizing the fuck out of him? Like, seriously, what's the joke whenever they show off his ass? Alright, let's talk about the main villain of the movie, Zeta. This might shock you all, but I think she's actually a good villain. Okay, not one of the best put to screen, mind you, but hear me out here. Her personality is both fun to watch yet menacing, she has strong motivations, and is the leader of an entire island with state-of-the-art technology from a lab built inside a volcano. And she even uses it to destroy Eagle Mountain. Those are some pretty impressive feats. Alright, we've stumbled upon my main issue with her. We don't see how she took over all of Eagle Island. Did she once get a degree so impressive that the rulers had no choice but to make her the boss of the entire thing? On another note, I don't mind her being Mighty Eagle 6's fiancé. In fact, I actually like the idea of seeing where he came from and what his life was like. The problem is that they don't do much with it. In fact, they don't do anything with Mighty Eagle other than revealing his real name is Ethan and he had a long-lost daughter the entire time. One cool thing they do with her is that, similar to Mighty Eagle in the first movie, she has parallels to Red. Red is afraid of being left out and unloved again, while Zeta experienced what it's like to find love and appreciation after years of being looked over, but then being abandoned by it. So throughout the movie, they're both looking after number one, themselves. Although again, I would have liked it if Red, being the main hero, tried not to be like that, further setting him apart from the villain. And it doesn't really matter much anyway, because that parallel is not focused on as much as you'd think. Plus, in the end, Zeta faces zero consequences for basically crimes against humanity, but at least the wedding scene is actually funny, so it's not all bad. And finally, about Mighty Eagle. He just sucks in this movie. Not only did he leave Zeta at the altar, while she was expecting, mind you, but he puts his man-baby insecurities before the lives of 2 entire islands. I get he was lazy and washed in the first movie, but an inconsiderate fraud, he was not. The film made it clear that, well, yes, kind of out of laziness, he still wanted to teach the trio to be their own heroes. And one last thing, why is he shorter? The whole point of Mighty Eagle is that he's a giant. Alright, now that we've covered the characters, let's talk about probably the worst thing about it. You know, other than the fact they basically dropped the ball at adapting the source material. The world building is whack. Where do I even begin? How about the fact that Mighty Eagle apparently was a high schooler in the 1990s and left Zeta at the altar 20 years ago? When the hell did he have time to become the god tier hero he was known as if he's only like 40 years old? While the main birds seem to be and act like in their 20s or 30s. Red never saw him until he met him as an adult in the first movie, so can anyone explain to me how does this work?
Don't you say another word.
That's not even the main issue. This movie doesn't just have pop culture references and lots of licensed songs. Oh, no. The characters all straight up mention trends and celebrities from real life. Matilda mentions dabbing. Aquafina mentions Beyonce. Zeta mentions Vanilla Ice, Ice-T, and Ice Cube. They vocally sing Baby Shark. Do the Angry Birds and Bad Piggies know about humans? Why in the world is there advanced human technology like cell phones and shit? The appeal of the tech the pigs have is that it's primitive architecture pretending to be high-tech. There's even a whole game based around that. And why are there non-anthropomorphic animals that scale with the birds like it's nothing? There's a dog, there's a cow, there's a sea lion. Are the Angry Birds actually human-sized? Why is this movie making me question the logic in a movie based on a game about cartoon birds and pigs?
I'm losing it!
Alright, we get it. Anyway, I'm aware that after all that, it might seem like I hate this movie with all my passion, but I really don't. There were some things I liked. Like I said before, I think Zeta is a solid villain. Most of the jokes are still pretty funny. I mean...
And what does the next gadget do? Like, bury us alive? What? That would be ridiculous.
Ignite the shovel light. Oh, it's on!
Yeah, also, Judge Guy is nowhere to be seen, so good fucking riddance.
I salute my fallen enemy!
And I really like how they incorporated the slingshot as a means of transportation. That's actually really clever. I guess I'm more so just disappointed. Not just because the movie clearly doesn't want to have anything to do with the games, which is stupid, but I digress, but because I know Thrope is capable of doing much, and I mean much better than this. I recently binge-watched Flapjack, and let me tell you, it is one of the funniest TV shows I've ever seen in my life. But the Angry Birds movie 2 doesn't really have that sauce. If anything, it just feels more like a Hotel Transylvania sequel than this show that, for those who don't know, helped the cartoon industry as we know it. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Without Flapjack, there'd be no regular show or Gravity Falls and so on. Hey, now that I think about it, neither Hotel Transylvania 2 or 3 feel like anything Jenny Tartakovsky worked on. What hurts even more is that this movie did not help the franchise fall from grace at the time. This was the same year when Rovio got rid of classics such as Space, both Star Wars, Go, even the very first game. They pulled a David Zaslav before Zaslav. It's even weirder that Sega, the home of Sonic the Hedgehog, bought the entire company and hasn't done anything big with it yet. Really, the only new thing from the franchise that sparked my interest was this Netflix show, Summer Madness. Oh yeah, I watched it and it's sure a show. The animation is surprisingly nicely done. I like the idea of Red and Stella being childhood friends and they bro it out. Chuck is voiced by Prime Sonic, so that's cool. For some reason, they omit characters like the Blues and even Gale from roles that would have fit them like a glove. They do with Mighty Eagle that cliche where the older characters work as the camp counselor for no other reason than shut up and don't think about it. And also, for some reason, the villains aren't the pigs. Oh no, why would you want that? It's only this asshole counselor and this frat bro who hates Red just because. So, really, what else is there to say? I just don't like this movie. Plain and simple. And Rovio, just bring the games back to Google Play. Come on. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Angry Birds 3 so far looks like incoming hot garbage, so why even bother? If you liked this video and would like to see more, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, tell all your friends about me because you know how YouTube works these days, and comment your thoughts down below. See you next time, stay faithful and hopeful.